Today on the What Happens Next channel, I want to talk about a combination of both pleasure and purpose and why both is so important when we're thinking about what happens next. Welcome to the What Happens Next channel. Hi there, my name's Chris and welcome to the What Happens Next channel, the channel that's dedicated to helping you take the next step through your journey through life into what happens next. Typically, we are building videos to help people in their 50s and 60s who appreciate that they want to make a change in their life, but appreciate that it's not only the money they need to think about, it's what they want in that next step that they really need to think closely about. So who am I to talk about this? My name's Chris. I'm a chartered financial planner. I've been doing that for nigh on 20 years. And my day job involves helping people get real financial clarity so they can live the lives they want in that period of their lives, in the next chapter of their lives. And it's really interesting because when we first have conversations with people about what happens next, often the conversations are around retirement, and we'll have a conversation which is along the lines of, Chris, my ideal retirement is travel all the time, sitting on a Caribbean island, pina colada in hand, and just complete relaxation. Now, I get it. If you've worked hard all of your career and you're thinking about the next chapter, rest, relaxation and recreation are certainly things that you want to include as part of that plan. But the Greeks had a really interesting philosophy on this stuff that I want to share with you, because the ancient Greeks appreciated that whilst we want hedonism, hedonic pleasure in our lives, we want that, we also need the pleasure of purpose. Before we get into this and look at what the evidence says and look at what we can do to think about both pleasure and purpose in our lives, I'd ask you, if this is of benefit, these videos are of benefit, to like and subscribe. That allows us to do three things. It allows us to grow the YouTube channel for your benefit so we can do more of these videos. Build a community so that actually people who are thinking about what happens next are helping each other and working together and supporting each other through the process. But it allows us to continue to attract amazing experts to share their perspective on navigating that next stage of your life. And I'd love to do that more and more. The evidence says that whilst hedonic happiness is important, so is eudaimonic happiness. And what's that? That's the pleasure of purpose. Getting up in the morning, thinking about our lives in a way that feels meaningful, and looking at our lives in terms of what we give to others as opposed to the enjoyment we give ourselves. And the Greeks recognised this, the ancient Greeks recognised this. They knew that actually hedonism, hedonic happiness was one part, but we also need to make sure that we've got this eudaimonic happiness that allows us both to think about what we do for others, the value we add in the world, and as us Brits call it, why we might get out of bed in the morning. And every country's got their own version of why we get out of bed in the morning. I love the Japanese concept of Ikigai, the concept that when we're thinking about what to do with the remainder of our lives, we should think about what the world needs, what we can get paid for, what we're really good at, and look at those combinations and make sure that we're doing something good. But the French call it the Raison d'etre. What can we do to give us more eudaimonic enjoyment? We know that hedonic enjoyment comes from things we love and like doing, but where does eudaimonic enjoyment come from? And there's three things you can do today and throughout your lives to boost that pleasure of purpose, that eudaimonic enjoyment. Number one is find meaningful work. Now, when a lot of clients come and see me, they've reached a point of their careers and lives where work doesn't hold the luster it used to, and they're thinking about making change in their life. But often it doesn't mean that work won't play a part in their future lives. However, what we tend to find is work in the next chapter needs to be meaningful. It needs to have purpose. It needs to add value. And our experience is the clients who continue work love or like the work they do. So meaningful work can play a part in giving us pleasure, but as long as it's meaningful. The second way of finding eudaimonic happiness is helping others, working out ways that we can help others. Humans are social animals, right? So actually being kind to others, using your skills, expertise, money to support others, spending your time helping the people you love and like, but also more wider causes, certainly gives you a sense of purpose that also gives you pleasure. Now that can be as simple as looking after the grandkids, but it can also relate to voluntary work. I've got clients who are trustees of charities, and all sorts of things where you can add value to the community to benefit you. And the third way is create a challenge for yourself. Often that's by learning new skills. I've got clients who learn all sorts of new skills, including painting and pottery and physical activity, loads and loads of stuff in that next chapter of their life. However, finding something that stretches you enough to make sure it's challenging but is enjoyable enough to get you in that flow state is really, really, really important. So if we're looking at our lives and thinking about what the next chapter holds, it's important that even though sitting on that Caribbean beach, pina colada in hand, might be part of the plan to give us that hedonic happiness, we should also look at eudaimonic happiness to make sure we've got the two combined. Because doing it that way will give you certainly more well-being over the long term than just one or the other. However, I'm curious, what gives you the most hedonic happiness, like pleasure for pleasure, and what gives you the most eudaimonic happiness? It's different for all of us, and I'd love to hear from you what gives you the ultimate joy in both those areas. Also, as we build this channel, we're building a community, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. So check out the comments below. There'll be a link to the community we're building. We'd love for you, if you're going to benefit from the content we're sharing and being on a journey with similar people in your position, to join us on the community. That's it for today. Hopefully that was useful, and we'll see you next time on What Happens Next.